program's name was Summer Archeology. What it was is we went to Louvain-la-Neuve, Belgium, to the University Catholique of Louvain for a archaeological dig at Walhain Castle.
Basically, the overall experience was 5 days a week you'd get up and you would go to the excavation site, the Walhain Castle, about 8-10 miles outside of Louvain-la-Neuve where we were staying.
The castle went through a number of phases of development up until the French Revolution, when it started to be torn down and became a ruin. And we wanted to get this program going, both to study the history of its development, but also to raise consciousness and get resources to be able to preserve it for the future. And I'm happy to say that we've been very successful in both domains.
I was looking to really kind of take what I had learned here at the master's program, this traditional kind of documented history, and kind of mesh that with this archaeological excavation, getting to dig down through 500 years of earth and finding artifacts that you could then take and kind of compare with your source material and really get a better understanding, a fuller understanding of history.
It's one thing to read about it in a textbook. I found that it was another thing to actually be there, holding that object that came just fresh out of the ground and hasn't been held in 400 or 500 years. The people seemed very warm. They were very kind. They did not have that anti-American sentiment that the media seems to press on the general public.
Just being immersed in the European culture in general was something new to me. I'd never been outside the country. You really, with this program, you're living in a Belgian university town for 4 weeks, and you can't help but kind of take part in it all. The good thing about this program is you have 3 weekends free to travel on your own, and I took advantage of all those weekends. I went to Germany, traveled around Belgium on a few day trips, went to Normandy, really got to see some of the sites that had always just been on the TV screen for me. It made it real. I got the full European experience, I guess you could say.
We were allowed free range to travel in Europe as long as we were back before we left to go back to Walhain Monday morning.
At the end of the day, you'd pack up your tools and you'd go back and you'd be ready for the tavern, I guess you could say.
Looking back 10 years, if I'm going to look back on it, I'm going to think about probably what we did after work in the evenings. Socializing. The food was fantastic. The beer was fantastic. What they actually taught there was archaeology is a crossroads discipline. It took, you had the historical aspect. We did a lot of mapping, so even if you were a math major, you would get a lot out of it because we had to plot points on a wall. There was lecture involved. There was a bit of biology involved with different layers of soil. Again, there's geology. It was very much an enriching experience in terms of seeing how different disciplines fit together.
If you are curious about the past, if you want to know how archaeology helps us learn about the past, if you're not afraid of hard work, and if you'd like to experience being in a foreign country which has a deep historical tradition, well, those are all great qualifications to come on this program. You don't need any others. You don't need to know how to speak French. You don't need to be a history major. All you need is enthusiasm and willingness to work.